Hi there and welcome to Scrap and Coffee. In this video we are going to start with the construction of the brake purse. If you haven't seen the walkthrough of the project yet, I will put a link on top so you can see the whole project. For now, let's start with the construction. Okay, so we are going to make this brake purse project, and I've prepared my chipboard pieces, and you need 5 chipboard pieces. And I've placed a measurement on there. They're all 8.5 inches long, and you have 2 pieces that are 4 3/4, 1 piece that's 1 3/4, 1 piece that's 1 inch, and 1 piece that's 5 1/8 of an inch. 5/8 of an inch. So I have 2 pieces of cardstock that measure 10.5 by 12, and I've placed them together with a 1/2 inch double-sided tape strip. And I've noticed that I want to have 1 inch border on all 4 sides. But if I start placing my chipboard at 1 inch from here, then my the overlapping of my pieces of cardstock is not going to be where I want it to be. So I'm going to cut away 1.5 inches here from the side in order to get that overlapping where I want it. So I'm getting my big paper trimmer in here. I'm trying to do this without bumping the camera. 1.5 inches is what I want to cut off. And get that out of here. So I wanted to show you the order that I'm placing the pieces of chipboard in on my cardstock, and then I'm just going to speed up the video so you can see what I'm doing, but I'm not going to bore you with everything. So we start with the front, one of the bigger pieces that we have 2 of. Then we go to the bottom, that's the 1 inch piece, and I just like to write down what my piece is for on the chipboard so I don't make any mistakes. Then we place the back, and now the overlapping is almost in the middle of the back piece, so that's nice. Then you get the top, that's the 5/8 of an inch piece, and last but not least, the closure. So on the end, I'm going to measure 1 inch from the end of this chipboard piece, and I'm going to cut away the extra that I have over here. So I'm going to draw a line at 1 inch from the bottom and 1 inch from the side, just to guide me, and I'm going to place everything on here, and I'm going to use 3/16 of an inch tape to get my spacing in between the chipboard pieces. so the base of the purse is wrapped with cardstock. Now we are going to use some magnets for the closure. And these were the magnets that I used on the project that I showed you in the project share, and we are going to use the larger ones this time. And what I wanted to do actually was, let's get to mine. This is on here. We are going to do 2 of them. Right here, I'm thinking. And what I'm going to do is, okay, let's measure this out just a little bit, because these magnets are like 5/8. This is 1 3/4. So I want to have the center about 1 inch, I think. And I'm just going to do it a little bit in from that part. Okay. So I'm going to hold this in place. I'm going to draw a line around this. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And then I'm going to get my craft knife, if I can find it. Oh yeah, here it is. And I am going to cut a little bit away of the layer from the chipboard, so the magnet will not lie on top of the chipboard but sink in there a little bit. Just taking my time, and you want to cut away your pencil mark as well, so the magnet fits in there. So I'm using a craft knife to make the circle, and I will use a utility knife to peel away some of the layers of the chipboard. And you don't have to be perfect, because you will cover it up with your pattern paper. Anyway. Okay. You see, I peeled away a little bit of that chipboard, and I think I want to go a little bit deeper, 1 more layer. We'll do this one first, because then I'm yes, I think this is perfect. Just place a little bit of glue in there, just to be extra sure. want to let this dry because I don't have the extra double-sided tape that was on the magnet there before I close it, so I'm just leaving it for a sec. Okay, so now for the inside of the cover, I've prepared some pieces of cardstock and they measure 8 1/4 in length, and 2 pieces are 3 1/4, and I have one piece that's 8 1/4 by 4 1/2. The smaller pieces will go on top of the foldings in the cover, one here and one here, and the other one will go on the left side of the front cover to cover this up. Now you can do this in one whole piece, then you should cut it at 8 1/4 by about 7 inches. You can measure that for yourself as well, how far you want to have it in. The reason that I do it with a separate piece is because I use this piece as my guidelines to place my add-ons on there. So it's up to you if you want to do it like I do it, or you want to do it in one whole piece. That's both will work. So now we are going to prepare the pieces for this side, and here we are going to make that slide and lock for the waterfall. Okay, in order to make the slide and lock, I have one piece that measures 9 1/4 by 4 1/2, and we are going to score this piece on the 9 1/4 inch side at 1/2 inch on each end, so that will be 8 3/4. Put that aside. We have two pieces that measure 1 inch by 7 inch, and we are going to score them halfway, so at 1/2 inch. Both pieces. And we have one piece of cardstock that measures 2 1/2 by 9 1/2, and we are going to score this in a particular order. On the 9 1/2 inch side, we are going to score at 7 1/2 inches and at 8 1/2 inches. Then we are going to lie the piece on the 2 1/2 inch side with our score lines on the bottom. and we are going to score at 5/8 of an inch, and we are going to stop at the first score mark that we will get. So the score mark of the 7.5 inch score mark. So at 5 inches down, and I'm going to stop right there. 1 7/8 inches, that's it. 1 7/8 inches down and stop at that 7.5 inch mark. So we have 5/8 of an inch on both sides. Then we are going to turn it around 180 degrees. So again on the 2.5 inch side. Now our score marks in that direction are on the top. And we are going to score at 3/8 of an inch. And now again we are going to score up until the second score line. So again that's that 7.5 inch score line. So at 3/8 of an inch. Stop right there, and we are going to do the same thing here. 1 2 3, so that's 2 1/8 of an inch score mark, and stop again at that 7.5 inch score line. The other things that we have are 2 pieces of Tyvek, and they both measure 1 1/4, and then I have one piece that is 2 inches and one piece that is 4 inches by that 1 1/4. So we're going to use that as well. Black Tyvek here. If you don't have it, you can of course use white Tyvek as well. It will all work. So I noticed that my piece is not fitting completely in between the score lines. So I'm just cutting away slightly. Not too much. And refit it. That's better. So I'm just placing it so I'm covering that 7.5 inch score line and stay in between those 5/8 of an inch score lines. Place that on there. Then we are going to make some cuts. So we are going to cut on that 7.5 inch score line. We are going to cut that score line away on both sides, and we are going to cut this outer piece away. So we're just going to cut the score line away. I'm cutting on the inside of the score line. You can taper this, but you don't have to. If you cut the score line away, you will probably be fine. Those pieces away. So now we can make some folds. We are going to fold this over to the bumpy side. Oh. Let me see, I didn't cut that right. I have to cut all the way to the 5/8 of an inch score line. Like that. That's better. Give that a burnish. We fold both of them in, and we are going to check if they don't overlap. And I'm just about fine, so I can remove my tape backing and just fold it over. Give it a burnish. And do the same thing on this side. Let's see if I can clean this up a little bit. Okay. So now we are going to fold on the 8.5 inch score line right there, burnish, and remove tape backing and fold it over. Now we are going to cover this up with pattern paper, so don't worry about it too much. Now we are going to round these corners with a corner punch. And mine is not a heavy duty quarter punch, so I really have to work it. And what I also want to do is, and I think I will get my smaller scissors. Am I going to do that? No, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it just like that. I wanted to round these little edges as well, but I'm not going to do it. So now what's left is fold on this one. You don't really have to burnish it. It's just so you can fold it over later on. So now you can use a punch on this edge if you want. You can do it later after we attached everything as well. Okay, so for the bigger piece, this is 4.5 by 9.25. We scored on that 1/2 inch, and I've placed my double-sided tape on the dented side between the cut edge and the score line. And now on the bumpy side, I am going to place the piece of Tyvek right here to increase that fold line again. So I'm just going to remove the double-sided tape that I've placed on here. Come on. It's just to make that fold line a little bit stronger. And now what I will do is I will get my ruler and my pencil, and I'm going to place my ruler lining up the 0 in the middle of the piece. And I'm going to draw a line. Oh, let's get it on there straight. 3/4 to the left, to the right, and 3/4 to the left. Oh wait, I have to fold on my fold line first. Burnish it because I have to make the pencil mark on the fold line. So 3/4 and 3/4, and then I'm going to cut out that fold line. See that I'm in camera here. It's a little bit hard to see, but right there. Maybe it's smart for me to line it up. And it goes 4.25. This is it. 3/4. 3/4. And I'm going to cut out, actually I'm just cutting away the fold line. So we made a little hole in there. And now we are going to see if this will fit through it nicely. So that will work, and it's not coming out. I could have gone a little bit tighter, but now I have a nice movement here. So that will fit. So now I'm tapering that 1/2 inch. fold towards the bumpy side here as well. Make a little bit of room here. So then we had that strips that were 1/8 by 7. Oh, sorry, 1 inch by 7 inch, and I've placed the double-sided tape on the dented side on both sides. These are hinges. Okay, so now we are going to draw a line on the 9.5 inch side. That's hard to see on this side. 1 1/4 inwards from both sides. So I'm lining it up 1 1/4. I'm just going to make a pencil mark, and I'm going to do that on both sides. And now what I want to know is, does this wider piece fit in between here? Well, that fits easily. So now we are going to place these hinges on here. And we want it to be more to the bottom, but I'm just making sure that it's not going to overlap with the 1/2 inch here as well. And this is like a bumper, so when you place it in here, it doesn't go everywhere, but it stays nicely in between there. So I'm going to draw a line where this 1/2 inch will come down, so I'm going to stay slightly away from that, just slightly. I'm not going to taper these 1/2 inches either. I'm just going to place that on there. So I'm going to remove that tape backing from one side, and I want to have the fold line inwards. You want it to face inwards. So just see how I can do this so you can see what I'm doing. But I have the pencil mark here, and I'm just staying away just above that pencil mark. You don't have to place it all on there at once, just like that, and we give that a burnish. And I'm doing the same thing on this side, creating that bumper. Remove that tape backing again. Again, the fold line goes towards the pencil mark. Stay just above that 1/2 inch mark of that 1/2 inch flap, and place it on there and burnish. And I'm going to give a really good burnish as well. So now comes the hard part, because we have to place it inside our cover. So we are going to place our closure towards the opening. It goes through it, and we are going to place all of this on here. So I am going to place some double-sided tape on there as well. Actually, I almost forgot. So it's a bit messy, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So I'm just going from score line to score line, and then I can close this 1/2 inch before I attach it onto the cover. Like that. So I'm just going to remove this tape backing, and I am going to get this in here. Let's see that I do this the right way. You want your fold over side showing when you have it open. So your good side shows when you close it onto the waterfall. So now when I lay it in here, I have the side that has no folding facing me. And I'm just going to fold that one down so the double-sided tape keeps that ½ inch in place, and I'm going to do the same thing here. And now I'm going to place this in. I will be removing the bottom part of the double-sided tape, and I have to remove this part as well because I probably won't be able to reach it anymore. Yeah, I'll just do it. So now just take your time with it. I'm going to try to fold this down with holding it down with my fingers, and I'm going to line up the bottom with the pieces that I've placed already. And then yeah, I need to remove the tape here as well. I'm just getting it to the bottom, just to be sure. And slowly bringing it to the top. Stick it down and give it a real good burnish. Just make sure you burnish your hinges as well. And now this will slide in and out. And up. Now you can also make like a 1/8 of an inch here if you want to. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to leave it like this. So the magnet, I will place that on there once we've built the waterfall. So that's the construction of the cover. And in the next video we will be making the waterfall and the add-ons for the left side as well. So yeah, I probably need to do some cutting down in this video so it all fits in there at once. I see I'm not completely straight over here, but I will yeah, just need to keep that in mind when I'm placing my waterfall down, but that will be fine. So I think I will be laying this down with some weight on it to work the fibers, because it's just a little bit more difficult to keep it in place because of the differences in sizes in the top and the bottom. But it's already better than it was with the other one, so I'm happy about that. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. So enjoy the rest of your day.